What do we got? Well, that may not be good for Jeff. We turn it, Jeff may be upset. We can't have Jeff upset. Oh, he's not going to be upset. We'll slightly modify it.
There we go.
We all happy? All right, everybody. It is 11:30 Eastern. The trains run on time, and so do the news conferences. Here is Rich Davey.
Good morning, everyone. So Rich Davey, President of New York City Transit. A few things I want to talk about this morning. First, I want to thank the men and women behind me who represent the 150.
Breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
I'm David Navarro. Well, following breaking news involving a major water main break in Midtown, the MTA right now giving an update after that flood of water into the subway disrupted service. Let's listen in.
But we were able to get service up and running, so I want to thank them. I've often said this, that New York City transit workers, when the call is made, they always answer the call. COVID, 9/11, superstorms, and in this instance, perhaps a DEP-created storm, which we'll talk about. But I'm just grateful for their work. So as I mentioned, 300,000 customers approximately use the 1, 2, and 3 line on a regular rush hour morning. So that gives you a sense of how many folks were impacted today. Give you a sense of how significant of a water event this was. We believe 1.8 million gallons of water entered our system. Approximately 1 million were pumped out by our normal pump rooms. We had to bring in, as you see behind this gentleman here, David, the blue pump there, and other pumps, mobile pumps, to pump out another 800,000 gallons of water. So again, a great effort by our team. In fact, I saw folks actually lugging that pump down into the station because it doesn't have elevators, to give you a sense for what was happening. And I would say, obviously we work closely with DEP, but in this instance, call upon them. We'll continue to work with them, but I think it took about 90 minutes for that water to be shut off, and in any instance, a minute matters. So we'll obviously work with them to think about how we can do a better job, how they can do a better job to ensure that this, impact doesn't impact our customers as severely as it did today. But again, I'm just grateful for the work the men and women of New York City Transit to get the 1, 2, 3 back. And as I said, we have a little more work to do, but that will be off hours tonight, which shouldn't impact service to do some final cleanup. So with that, I'm happy to take questions. Folks
Gus Rosendale from Channel 4 right here.
Sir, could you preview the evening commute, what people see as they're heading home today?
Should be no issues in the evening commute tonight. We have some comms rooms, some drainage we have to clean up. We'll do that after the evening commute and in between, off-hour trains. So there shouldn't be any residual delays. We have some residual delays now as trains get back into position. We get the right headways, but by rush hour tonight, should be no issues.
Other questions? Yeah.
Ramsey, WNYC. Did MTA increase service to other lines while there was shutdowns at the 1, 2, and 3?
No, what we did is we asked, the good news, if there's any good news, is that we're the week before Labor Day. So, typically this is a lower ridership week for us. So, we should have been able to handle the capacity. I heard of no crowding issues per se on other lines. But, if this were 2 weeks from now, when, a Tuesday after Labor Day, we certainly probably would have been more challenged.
Can you give more details on the pipe and how it burst? Was it a relatively older pipe?
That you have to ask DP. Just again reiterate, not our leak, but anything that leaks in the city finds its way into our system. So, but I'll steer you to DEP. I think they're still working on that pipe up at Times Square.
Other questions? Anybody?
When's the last time you've had to deal with something like this at all?
Well, look, we've had a water main break, a pretty serious one, I think a few years ago before my time. We've had, some issues in some of Inwood and a few other places where we have deep stations and sometimes water, whether it's rainstorms or other storms. Again, if the sewer system isn't functioning as it should be, water seeps into our system, which is another place where we need to work closely with DEP. We have and we continue to, is making sure that whether it's a water break like this and they're able to shut it off more quickly, or having the capacity in the sewer system here in New York City to capture that water and get rid of it before it seeps down to our subway system, that's a big issue.
All right. Anybody else? Yeah, Greg Hocker, Channel 11.
President, there's a lot of work going on. What do you say when you're sitting around kind of the table with your family? Why does the train have to not run? Why do we have to do all this work? What's going on?
If my generally, if my family would sit with me at a table, no. In all seriousness, this is a 120-year-old system, right? And I think, this is why we talk about congestion pricing. This is why we talk about investment. I could take you and probably bore you to death for, how old some of the infrastructure that we have at New York City Transit, signal systems that were put in the 1950s at City Hall. We're doing a major track work on the F line right now because that track is 40 plus years old. Facilities with leaking roofs. There's a lot of investment that needs to happen that, even the public doesn't see. So we have a lot of work to do. I have every confidence in this group of people and those who aren't here to get it done. I always say, give us the tools and we'll get it done.
All right, anybody else?
So just to clarify, services are back up and running?
Yes, it is. Yep, it was a little before 11 o'clock.
All right, anything off topic? Anybody have off topic? No, we're good? All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to the president of the New York City Transit System give us an update on the impact on the early morning water break has had on the subways. The good news is the 1, the 2, the 3 subway service have been restored. This happened just before 11 a.m. However, there are still delays on the system. However, they say that it should be no problem for tonight's rush hour. Of course, all of this, the result of that main breaking early this morning, 120-year-old water main under 7th Avenue, 40th Street area. You can see construction crews right now are actually putting the finishing touches on the repairs on the street side of it. And as we just heard from the transit systems, looking good in terms of getting things up and normal, at least for tonight's rush hour. We'll continue to monitor the very latest developments. We'll have updates on ABC-7 NY, a full report, and Eyewitness News at noon. I'm David Navarro. We return you now to The View in Progress.